Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, my name is Avinda Deviana. I'm the fifth semester of English Education Department. In this beautiful occasion, I would like to share you or I would like to explain about the history of systemic. The first, what is systemic? Systemic or systemic functional? The theory has its origin in the main intellectual tradition of European linguistics that developed following the work of Husserl, like other such theories. Both those from the mid-20th century, for example, Frege school, French functionalism. It is functional and semantic rather than formal and scientific in orientation. Takes the text rather than the sentence as its object and defines its scope by reference to usage rather than grammaticality. And so, how is the history of systemic? Systemic functional linguistics grew out of the work of G.R. Reid, a British linguist of the 30th centuries, 40th centuries, and 50th centuries. The primary source was the work of G.R. Reid and his colleagues in London, as well as other schools of thought in Europe. It is also draws on American anthropological linguistics and on traditional and modern linguistics as developed in China. Its immediate source is as a development of scale and category grammar. The name of systemic derives from the term system in the technical sense as defined by Reid 1957. System is the theoretical representation of paradigmatic relation, concentrate with structure of syntagmatic relation. In fifth system structure theory, neither of these is given priority, and in scale and category grammar, this perspective was maintained. Then systemic functional linguistics developed by M.E.K. Holiday in early 1961 in England. He developed a theory in the early 60s, seminal paper Holiday 1961, based in England, and moved to Australia in the 70s, establishing the Department of Linguistics at the University of Sydney. Through his teaching there, systemic functional linguistics has spread to a number of institutions throughout Australia and around the world. Australia systemic is especially influential in areas of language education. Systemic functional linguistic teaching and research also continued in the UK with main proponents including the Margaret Berry, Dick Hudson before moving on, Chris Battle, Robin, and many others. Another branch was established in Toronto, Canada, under Michel Georgi, a British College of Halliday, and later Jim Benson, Michelle Cummings, and Bill Gares. Systemic functional linguistic teaching is now taught around the globe. And here the characteristic of systemic functional linguistic. In contrast to other branches of linguistics, systemic functional linguistic has a different orientation from syntax, semantic, and pragmatic. If all three investigate into form, a study of form, and the meaning of the form, systemic functional linguistics pays more attention to aspects outside language, namely context. There are basic principles used in systemic functional linguistics, Namely, the first is social semiotic. The second is language as a research. The third is text, not sentences. The fourth is text and social context. The fifth is construing meaning. Systemic functional linguistics has three meta-functions. So here is the meta-function of systemic functional linguistics: additional, interpersonal, and textual. These three meta-functions are later useful for investigating the meaning that is from of or that meaning is from in a situation context. What is the meaning of additional? What is additional? Additional is construing experience function. The ideational function in systemic functional linguistics describes how language can represent experience and express perception about the world or an event. In this function, there are three interrelated aspects: process, participant, and circumstance. These three aspects will form reality. This reality is further explained in transitivity. The second is interpersonal. What is interpersonal? Interpersonal function underlines how language is used in interacting with our language partners as listeners. If communication is mutually understood by both parties, speaker and listener. The third is textual. Textual functions are related to textual meaning, or how texture plays a role in a text. Texture is what makes text an integral part of a language. The more cohesive and coherent a text, the larger the texture is. So that's all about the high story. I mean, that's all about the history of systemic. I do apologize if I have many mistakes. Telah saya say wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.